But standing up for yourself, it's important. And unfortunately, that message was brought home in a film I watched this week, the Citizen Vigilante movie. My God, what a shitty fucking production that was. Well, luckily, this Uwe Boll film was free on X to watch. So not only did I not have to pay for it, I got to watch it on 2X speed. So that hour and a half was cut down to 45 minutes. And boy, what a just terrible movie. Now, I know that guy, that director, Uwe Boll, is known for producing some really shitty movies in the past. I can't speak on that because I haven't watched any of those films. But the Army Hammer guy, he's basically playing an autistic Don Draper. They even have the scene where he visits one of the female victims in the hospital, sort of like when Don visits Peggy after she gives birth to the love child she had with Pete. It'll shock you how quickly you forget about this. And Army Hammer is just doing that impression the entire time. What kind of vengeance would you like to see done on these people? It's a new ad campaign. Cigarettes. Not just for Puerto Ricans anymore. He runs around. He beats up hooligans. He shoots people. He switches the drinks of some potential date rapists and, makes them take the sleepy potion. What is good about this film? I saw it was getting some praise among some right-wing people, but as a movie, it's not even good. As a vengeance film or a vigilante picture, it's not even good. There are other examples, like John Wick is a video game, but at least it's a higher budget film, sure, but at least that's a good movie, even within the context of it being a violent shoot-'em-up video game. Like, you could have done that and just switched out the random Asian and European gang members of John Wick for whatever migrant groups you wanted to. It's like, this isn't even a new message. I've been hearing about the European, the violent crime of these demographics for over a decade at this point. This shit used to be on YouTube on the suggested page back before they banned Alex Jones. Now when they banned Alex Jones from that platform, they took a whole bunch of other stuff with them. And all of these ideas and whatever you think you're exposing with this film was done well over a decade ago. There was no character development. The cinematography was very bad. This character, I don't know why he's just on a vengeance track. He owns some sort of real estate company in an unnamed European country. Apparently was shot in Croatia, but he's taking over for his father, who owned the company, I think, and he had no relationship with his father. And Army Hammer used to be in the military, and that's how he's so trained in fighting and weapons. It's really funny. It's a takeover. So again, I didn't even like this movie. I didn't see what the fuss was about. Like, if you're going to make a propaganda film, I don't mind it. I'll even support the general idea that you're pushing of restrictions in immigration or migration, period. But you actually have to make a good film. Like other vigilante films in the past, like I think Death Wish was one of those, Charles Bronson. I've never seen that, but from what I understand, it's about a guy who's really taking it to the criminal class when the police won't do their job. And that resonated a lot in the late 70s and early 80s when the crime epidemic was really going hard in this country. And, that's an effective propaganda film. Now, of course, the usual suspects will always be like, actually, this is inaccurate and whatever. But you have to actually make a good film. Again, your propaganda films need to be good in order to actually be effective for a wide audience. And like, who isn't aware of these sorts of crimes going on in Europe? Again, it's been over a decade that I've been aware of all this and that it's been widely reported online. everyone's pretty much aware at this point. And if you're not, though, you're never reaching those people. You're not reaching normie at all. And this movie was just ridiculous, though. Like, he's holed up in this random building that he owns, like he's the fucking Las Vegas shooter with a bunch of weapons, and all the European SWAT team members walk in, and he just eliminates them all after giving them the warning. Gentlemen, I'm going to present to you Nissan, the Nissan Altima. I'm just going to do Don Draper the entire time. If you don't vacate the building, I'm going to have to open up fire, much like the guy from Las Vegas did. We still don't know why. We don't know why he did it. It's a mystery that got swept under the rug. I don't even remember his name. That's how memory hold that whole situation was. Even though it was the biggest, or one of the biggest incidents that ever happened in the United States. Oh, excuse me, gentlemen. You are facilitating Interpol. You're facilitating the movement of migrants into my community. Even though I'm an American who's in Europe for some reason because his dad owned... My dad owned buildings in Croatia. Fucking stupid ass shit. The ending scene where he takes out this entire family. The teenage son was a part of a gang rape of the white woman. And, he lures all of his friends into the apartment and then takes them out all one by one. The daughter of the family for going to social media and calling the victim a whore, and the parents. And it was just a massacre. Which, interesting scene, but again, within the context of the film, it's just like, okay. Good. I'm glad those bad people were eliminated, but again, this is not effective propaganda. A takeover by the Islamists and the woke left. The woke left. Even the language that guy uses in the dialogue is some shit that would have been said by someone back in 2015. And he's saying it like a decade later, unironically. And the entire migrant situation in Europe it's not done, but every country is going to have a different outcome. Some are already remigrating people. Some are putting caps. Some are still going full throttle with more and more and more migrants. Others will, stay about the same. And others will just switch up the mix of what countries they bring people from. So instead of the Middle East and Africa, you're going to get more Southeast Asia and probably India. If you're being honest, you're going to get a lot of Indians in Europe in the future. That seems to be part of the deal with any trade negotiation with the Indian government. For some reason, they want to put a lot of Indians in other countries. They're best and brightest going overseas for some reason, even though they should be at home really improving that place. Why would you send your geniuses away? I don't know. That wouldn't be my personal strategy, but what do I know? Anyway, the end game in Europe. Once the Ukraine-Russia current conflict is over, there's going to be a 3 to 5 year rearmament period. And then, I hate to break it to you, you guys are being sent to, perish. Hopefully you get out of it okay. In the final battle with Russia between the EU and NATO and Russia. The advanced drone warfare of the year 2029. You think the current conflict is bad? Is inhuman? Think of the tactics they're learning now. Think of the advanced drone technology they're going to have in a couple years, powered by even more advanced AI. That is the future. The migrants aren't going to be sent there. You are going to be sent there. Even if your governments start sending some of them back. So the Citizen Vigilante film really doesn't do anything, doesn't accomplish a single thing as a film. But as a joke, it's pretty funny, If we have Citizen Vigilante starring Don Draper, then then it becomes interesting. Don has to give a presentation in front of the Japanese, preparing. He's like, Pete, imagine Peggy were raped as migrants. I'll have to take vengeance on all of them. I'll have to be in my bunker, go visit a whore. Oh yeah, the Army Hammer owns the whorehouse, which that's a good part of the movie, you know. You get to see some tits at least. You get to see some gazangas. And Don, he's just getting his vengeance on all the hooligans and street thugs and gangsters and various sex pests of Europe. You know, he has to get his vengeance. And the ending is much like Mad Men, where Don has to give a presentation. And like that one episode, he has a breakdown and starts telling the client about his fucked up childhood. But now he's in front of the Japanese, the representatives from Nissan. He's telling a story to sell them on his new ad campaign. Emperor Hirohito, I tell you this story as a concerned citizen, as a vigilante. Now, my father was an equine enthusiast. You may have seen his videos. He used to post under the name Mr. Hands. Now, my father was to death by a horse. You may have seen the video. You may have heard the aftermath, the puncturing of his colon and intestines that caused his downfall, his death. But why was my father, who knew the dangers of horses, why did my father get into that line of work anyway? Well, because when he was backpacking through Europe as a young man, he was gang raped by a pack of migrants driving a Honda Accord. Now, I already had plenty of hatred, reservations toward the Japanese, but now my ire is directed to Honda. Maybe Honda didn't make such a fine automobile. Those migrants wouldn't have been able to make it to find my father and pull his pants down, fondle his little body. Maybe if they had an unreliable car, something that wasn't so roomy for passengers, he wouldn't have taken so many in his ass and then spiraled out of control until he was finally raped by a horse in that barn. I think Washington State. We do not understand. What do you mean? I am not Emperor Hirohito. I understand your reservations about working with our company, but I will not stop until the Nissan Altima is the best-selling car on the planet. Toyota Corolla, fuck it. Honda Accord. We will make Honda pay, gentlemen, or I will have to take vengeance on all of the migrant hordes that are currently affecting Europe. Good luck at your next meeting with another agency. But just know this, I didn't just learn horse fighting from my father. I also learned how to use weapons. And I, Don Draper, will use those weapons against your enemies.